Museum of Contemporary Art, and they had the Guillermo del Toro exhibit, and he is a director who grew up in Mexico, and he is somebody who was very much influenced by Famous Monsters magazine, Forrest J. Ackerman's magazine, and comic books, and we even saw copies of Ackerman's magazine that were on display. Anyway, I'm taking time away from my 3 minutes, but this is me and Forrest J. Ackerman. You can't see it very well.
Now they're laughing because look what Van's done to Yoda.
Oh yeah,
It's very much like you.
It's Yodan.
Yeah. Very good, Van.
Try not, do or do not. There is no try. This story is called The Aquaduct. See, The Aquaduct is from my collection, Mere Anarchy, which is available on Amazon.com. This is the three-minute version. It was 3 a.m. when I met my contact at the San Andreas Aqueduct. I had my paperwork in hand. She had nothing but that same sinister smile on her face. We met there every night at the same time, 3 in the morning. Sometimes she was late, and I was left to admire the graffiti. Old street lamps illuminated the 10-foot-tall words, Mikey, San Andreas 13, and OG Original Gangsta, right up to the end. Good morning to you too, I said. She looked up. Sorry, Gavin, nice night, isn't it? Sure. I crushed a cigarette out of its pack and lit it with my Justin Bieber Zippo. If you like getting busted by the man in the glare of 200 street lamps, she smiled. I hated that smile because it was too perfect. Her teeth glinted like ivory tusks between her cherry red lips. You're exaggerating. There can't be more than, she glanced around, 12? There can't be more than 12 street lamps in this whole aqueduct. Besides, the man isn't around. They don't have the resources to send soldiers way out here. So you say. I tried to blow smoke in her face. I'd always wanted to do that. The smoke just dissipated and I got some down my throat. I started coughing violently. Serena just laughed. Gavin, you don't smoke. Why don't you just stand there and let me read your stuff? If you lit that ciggy to look cool, please stop it. You're killing yourself. She took off the fedora and playfully placed it on my head. She cleared her throat and began to read what I had written. Roses are red, violets are blue, the moon is lovely, and so are you. She tossed her auburn hair over her shoulder and grinned happily. Aw, Gavin, this is beautiful. I could feel myself blushing. The ground beneath my feet began to vibrate. Was this how it felt to be in love? Serena's grin disappeared and she looked to her left. My eyes followed her gaze. Serena began to scream, and I could see why. A massive wave was making its way through the bends and curves of the aqueduct. It was headed our way. Serena's scream was ear-splitting. I picked her up and started to run in the opposite direction of the rushing wall of water. The sound of it assaulted my ears as I ran. She was a petite woman, but her weight was slowing me down. A burning pain shot up my vertebrae. The sound of the flood grew louder. There was no way I was going to outrun it, with or without Serena. I woke up in my bed with a frantic urge to pee. I swung my legs out of bed as quietly as I could, but stepped on one of Mikey's action figures on the way to the bathroom. A white-hot sliver of pain engulfed the sole of my foot, but I clamped my hand to my mouth to stifle any sound. I stood there in the near silence. The only sound was Serena's light, rhythmic snoring. Good. I hadn't interrupted her sleep. She had a job interview in the morning. The last thing she needed was to be startled awake by her clumsy husband stepping on her son's toy and screaming like a banshee in the night. I made it to the bathroom and unloaded in the toilet, being careful to aim for the side of the bowl and not the watery center. As I peed, I thought about the poetry I had scribbled and my contact's reaction to it in the aqueduct. Serena had liked it. She had even read it and smiled before the pee-inspired flood interrupted our rendezvous. I repeated the line in my head. I didn't want to forget it. Roses are red, violets are blue, the moon is lovely, and so are you. There was a yellow legal pad and a pencil on the back of the toilet. I would write it down before going back to bed. I always write my best love poetry ever having an aqueduct dream. As I snuggled up next to Serena and pulled the covers to my neck, I wondered what our next nocturnal rendezvous would be like. The end.
I remember my mother used to use the term wet dream when she'd talk about my brothers, and every time I'd ask what that was, she'd just shush me. You know, I said, okay.
You'll find